And in fact, what exists now are groups in which people are turning in order to find their sexual partners to find somebody else who also has an STD. Now, this is very, very sad. And I agree with you that we don't have enough support. You know, in the counseling center where I worked, there were support groups for everything under the sun. People who had eating disorders or substance abuse disorders, or people who, for example, after Trump was elected, they would have special places for support to deal with the emotional fallout from that, and you know, people who with family issues, you name it.
And I imagine
But
after 9/11
boy,
there would have been support groups, massive support.
oh yes, after 9/11, sure, after natural disasters. But what about support groups for people who feel that they need one after an abortion, or after being diagnosed with a sexually transmitted infection, and just learning to cope with it, and how to deal with it? Like, who do I tell? What do I do with this information? How do I move on from this to my next relationship? No groups for that.
And as you, to go back to your initial, you know, this is needless suffering, you know. It doesn't have to happen. If kids are educated properly, you know, if they're given the information, while older children and younger ones are treated with great kindness and compassion, then this doesn't have to happen. It's like society needs to wake up. I hate to use that word because it's been so mangled lately, but you know, to become aware of how important it is to be informed and to know the story, to know the score and the risks involved.
The thing is, it goes, yes, but it goes against the agenda. So that the people that are bringing into schools, into kindergartens, cross-dressers or transgender individuals or what have you, to talk about their experience, those same people would not want someone to come in and speak to older kids. I'm not saying to the little kids, the older kids, someone who has suffered from having herpes, someone who has HIV that regrets their behavior, someone who's had an abortion and it's impacted their whole life. They would be totally, they would block that. They wouldn't permit that from happening. They would say that that's an agenda and that's to scare kids.
So they're stopping a real education. They're stopping an education that would benefit people. They're stopping that.
They're stopping anything that goes counter to their ideology, that they want the kids to be indoctrinated that sexuality, that kids are sexual from cradle to grave, and that they have the right and the freedom to exercise and express that sexuality.
And when we come to online images and other media where sexual images are displayed, and, you know, does the education system have a responsibility in counteracting that? You know, phones in schools, or again, you can sit down and talk to the children, and parents and teachers can come in and really campaign for children not to be able to watch this stuff, which is adult stuff.
You're talking about pornography. Of course. Of course, it's the responsibility of parents and schools to sit down with their children from a young age. I mean, before they get a screen in front of them, even. And to say, you know, these devices, they can be really great and fun, and you can learn so much from these devices, but there's also there's bad stuff on these devices. There's scary stuff.